Hey guys, Caleb here, and I'm going to do something that I've never once done before, and that's an unboxing video. I just had a nice box come back in from CGC today, the most books I've ever submitted at once, and at the urging of one GA comic book guy, I decided I would give this a try and see how it works. Of course, if I don't like it, you'll never see it, but we're going to see how it goes. Pretty excited. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not one of those folks who are going to be able to wait until the books come in to pop them open and see the grades. I'm one of those people that will check the doggone CGC website daily to see if they've been received, to see if they've been scheduled for grading, to see if they're in grading, to see if they've been marked as finalized and shipped. Yeah, that's me. I own it. Hey, while I'm pointing at myself, check out the sweet shirt, man. Firestorm. Luke Dab. If you don't follow Luke Dab here on Instagram, you should, because he's awesome. Had my Cyborg shirt on yesterday, rocking Firestorm today. And Luke, if you happen to see this video, I just need a disco version of Nightwing now, so I'll have all three of my guys. But, all right, hey, let's pull the box down. Let's look and see what kind of goodies are inside. And, so, as I said, it's the biggest shipment that I've ever sent to CGC, and I have not really pulled these out yet. I did peek at two this morning, and I'll kind of explain why once we get to those, but otherwise I haven't pulled them out. So it's kind of like a kid on Christmas morning right now. But we're just going to start towards the back of the box and work our way forward. So here you can see a Christmas present, man. This was a Christmas present this year. Stoked to get it. Art Germ, love the cover. That old, paying homage, throwback to the old style, so to speak, but just beautiful. 9.8 on that bad boy. So once again, like with this whole set of books, I sure was happy. But that Art Germ, he's pretty good at what he does. Pretty sure he knows more about this whole art gig than I know about anything. I'd say the same thing about Adam Hughes quite frequently. Jim Lee, Neil Adams. I mean, we can go on and on and on. Hey, next up, check it out, man. You know, I'm a DC fanboy. Own it. I get way too many books. I get the A covers and the B covers each week because I'm just that guy. But Teen Titans, honestly, the Teen Titans have been one of my favorite groups ever since I was a kid. A lot of the times I actually like them more than the Justice League, especially when you go back to that 80s, 90 versions of the Titans, like, you know, the whole George Perez group. That's where it's at for me. So this was on my pull, and this is the one that I pulled, you know, at my LCS, plug to Bob's Comics here in the Trussville, Alabama, Birmingham area. It's my best, it's just absolutely the best shop probably in Alabama. And one of my favorites I've ever been to, period, the end. But yeah, this was my pull that week. This didn't get pressed. This was just sent in. So 9/8, first Batman Who Laughs, which is pretty sweet. Next up, speaking of Bob, I also got this one from Bob. I think he offered to buy it back from me. You know, he said he'd give me $50 more than what I paid him for it. We're going to keep this one. I don't own a lot of Marvel books, if you can't see from the wall here behind me. But it's Mickey Mouse, man, and it's freaking awesome. And it's a 9.8 score. Did I tell you I was really happy with this set of books that came in this time? Because I really am. Next up, what do we have here? There are some who try to claim it's like the first She-Ra in continuity, but I'm pretty sure I saw She-Ra in an issue or two prior to this one, but a great cover. I can't say his name, Stepchen. Like I said, I can't say it, but that dude does some amazing work. But a beautiful cover. And those of you who know me know that I love my He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. So I was happy to send this one in from my collection as well to get it graded. Iconic cover. I still say that the Sword of Power that's got He-Man and She-Ra on it, that should be listed as her first appearance. But little known fact, if you're not a big He-Man guy, She-Ra has no listed first appearance in the census for CGC or CBCS. So this next one, so is there anything really special about it other than it's a variant? Not really. Man, I just love Firestorm. See the shirt. And, you know, to get this beautiful, beautiful Deathstorm cover and a 9.8. I mean, like, I just love it. It's such a beautiful book. That's just for me. Not every book that I send in is always going to be a high dollar book. Sometimes they're just the ones that make me happy. And that's really how I collect. It's just the stuff that makes me happy. Next up, man, Natalie Sanders. Gorgeous, man. Looks like a magazine that you would find. But I had to have it when I saw it, and I got a pretty good deal on it. So I was pretty pleased. And it came with the regular copy here, which I prefer this version, quite honestly. But there's also a version that you will see, and I don't know if it's next or not since I haven't pulled the box open to look. Looks like it is. So here's the Virgin. Hey, 9.8. Let's say Virgin, like a limited version almost. Got just a little title right up at the top. Those of you who know me know I don't sell. Probably going to turn loose of this one, just because I don't really care to have two graded copies of this book. I wanted that one, the magazine style look to it, because it's amazing. But I don't know that I need the Virgin. I know most folks are willing to pay a little bit more for the Virgins than they are the regular cover. Which, hey, collect what you like, man. And if the Virgins do it for you, hey, man, knock them out. All right, so this next one was a Christmas, well, I don't know if it was a Christmas gift, but it was a gift from my wife. It may have been Christmas last year. My wife buys me some of the best gifts, period, the end. And so she snagged me this variant of the DCU Legacies. And of course, hey, we got Black Adam, got a little Mary Marvel, Captain Marvel Jr., and Shazam kind of sprawled out down below, where Black Adam just dominated. So I love it, man. It's beautiful, and it's not an easy cover to find. And so to get a 9.8 in it, once again, stoked. All right, so next up, so apparently, if there was one book that disappointed me in the grade, I'm gonna have to sit and look at this bad boy here in just a second, but I thought this one was a 9.8. I really did. Like, usually I tell folks it's a 9.8 or a 9.6 until you get it back from CGC, and I just don't pretend otherwise. All right, so I lied to myself this time. It was a 9.8. And it got a 9.6. Man, I don't know. The lighting in this room is not as good as it appears in this video right this second, quite honestly. And I don't see a defect as I'm looking at it. I guess I shouldn't be too happy. And if you didn't recognize, this is the Batman exhibit book that you could only get on those tours out at the WB studio. So here's the back side of it, just if you've not seen it. But this is, you know, basically from the New 52, the #1. So you know how much those babies go for. And to get the one from the exhibit tour, that was a pretty cool get a good long time back. And I finally sent it off to get graded. I've had a stack sitting there forever and a day that I finally took the time. So this one, man, I also got this book from Bob's. Now, this one was not a 9.4 before it got sent off. I did get this one pressed ahead of time. The Comic Book Presser, you can find him on IG under just that name, Comic Book Presser. He lives in North Carolina. His name is Chris. You're going to see another book from him in a bit. But if I had to guess, this book was probably around a 7, 7.5. But it was ungraded, so no way to really know that before he got a hold of it. But a 9.4, first G.I. Joe, white pages. Man, I love the books, you know, that kind of come from my childhood time. That's one of my fascinations with the He-Man stuff. You know, I'm a kid who grew up in the late 70s, very small at that point. But really the early to mid 80s was my prime. So I feel like I had the best stuff between Star Wars, G.I. Joe, He-Man, Thundercats. I mean, it was just a great time to be alive as a kid. The cartoons were amazing. The toys were too. Superpowers, don't forget that too. Super Friends was my jam. 6 a.m. Saturday morning, I was up and waiting. This next one is one of my favorite covers because I saw it as I pulled it out of the box. It is one of my favorite absolute He-Man covers ever. All right, so for those of you who don't know a lot about He-Man, this is one of the He-Man.org exclusives. And I mean, it's just gorgeous. Look at He-Man sitting up on Battle Cat. That power coming right through him. I mean, just a beautiful cover. A 9.8. There are only 500 of these made. And so that is one of 500, period, the end. Pretty cool. That whole run from MV Creations, Image Comics, whatever you want to call it, with their variants, just insane. All right, so this next one, hey, Chris Campagna, God bless you, sir. That is a beautiful book. I'm just kicking myself, and I love CGC, but I love CBCS too. I'm just kicking myself for sending a sketch cover from him into CGC instead of sending it to CBCS like I did my others. It was a rookie move on my part, and man, I am not a rookie, but just a moment of not thinking. But it's a beautiful 9.8, and I mean, what's it matter, I guess, that it's a green label and it doesn't have signed by him, artwork done by him. He knows he did it. I know he did it, and it's mine, and it ain't leaving. But just gorgeous. He-Man, Skeletor going at it. And if I could start up a He-Man monthly title, and I know they've got the Masters of the Multiverse, but if I could do my own, man, Chris would be one who I'd want drawing it every month, you know, or at least doing some variant covers or something. The dude loves He-Man. He's passionate about it. He does phenomenal work. All right, so we've got just a few left. I think I mentioned Jim Lee earlier. Gosh almighty. I don't know how many of these books are in the census. I haven't looked. I'm guessing not many. But this is a Jim Lee cover of Thundercats. Tell me that Jim Lee's lino isn't like everything else Jim Lee does, completely badass. Jim, you are amazing. The stuff you've been doing for this last month with these, or maybe more than a month now, raising money for the local shops, the stuff that you've done, holy smokes. But DC, please, consistent Masters of the Universe monthly title, consistent Thundercats monthly title. You own the rights to both. Let's put it out there. Give them a push, man. And bring in folks like Jim and some of the other guys to come in and do variant covers. I'll buy them both. I already do it with the other titles anyway, so hey, what's one more? Or two, rather. The next up, this beauty. So this was a promotional issue. Once again, that whole run where Image and MV Creations kind of had the rights. Just love it. The front cover's beautiful. The back is beautiful too. So, a 9.6, I was honestly pretty pleased because I really thought it was probably about a 9.4. And I was questioning myself, why didn't I get it pressed before I sent it? But hey, man, 9.6 is for me. And if you got a 9.6 most of the time, I'm a pretty happy camper. So, there are two books left. They're the same book. One is a direct edition, one is a newsstand copy, but they're both DC Comics Presents 47. The first appearance of my boy, if you haven't noticed a little bit of a theme in a lot of these books, but they're He-Man books. And so it's the first appearance of He-Man. So starting with this one right here, look at that 9.8. You heard me mention the comic book presser earlier. He did a few books for me and he did a phenomenal job on some. Just absolutely phenomenal. This is one of them. This was a 7.5 when I sent it to him. I've got a picture. I can prove it. It was a 7.5 that I bought years ago. It had the old CGC style label on it that was not a very attractive label at all. It was kind of hard to see the grades, but I'd had it forever. And I looked at it and I was like, man, this could press out and look so good. In a million years, I didn't expect the 9.8. So from a 7.5 to a 9.8 on this direct edition, first appearance of He-Man. Pretty happy camper. He also pressed the next one I'm going to pull out. This was a newsstand. It was pretty dang clean when I got it, and I really thought this one would have been a 9.8, but 9.6. So, hey, you know, I'm pretty happy camper, quite honestly. I don't have too many copies that I own, multiple copies of a book. The He-Man's first appearances, that's one of the few that I own multiple copies of the same cover of the book. Granted, the newsstand and direct make it a little bit different for me, but neither one of those will be leaving me, period. The end. The only way the newsstand would ever leave is if I had a 9.8 that I just couldn't say no to at a good price. At that point, then I might turn loose to the 9.6, but chances of that happening are slim to none. I'm not going to be actively looking for one, so probably just won't happen. But assuming this video uploads, it will be my first ever unboxing video here, and hope you guys enjoyed it. And there may be some words that I said multiple times. Bearded Comic Bro, I'm thinking about the ooh-wee, and I don't know if I did that or not, but watching it back, I will probably see. See ya.